Hey guys, welcome back to Rad City Resin. I'm Mary and I have a problem with AI. I know a lot of people love AI, it's the new thing, it's super trendy, but I have grown increasingly frustrated seeing how many people try to pass off AI images as actual resin art. I'm sure you've seen it too. Facebook's full of it. Even sometimes you see it on like Reddit and Instagram. But I'm here to see, okay, if you can make it in AI, can I make it in resin? So I'm gonna pop up a photo on the screen for you to see, and that is today's project. And we're gonna go from this over here to this. So come with me, I'll take you through all the steps that I took to get here, and you can tell me at the end if you think, was I successful or did AI beat me? And let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first things first, I am going to start with this round copper piece. So I made this literally just by taking a chunk out of this. I lined up where a coil overlapped and cut it right there, and it made a perfect circle. And I really like this size. I think this will be a fun, either like maybe a charm to put in my car from, to hang from the mirror, or it, even a fun statement necklace. So I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to fill this with resin. So I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to fill it with UV resin. So let me grab my gloves here. Okay, now I want to make sure that this sits as flush as possible because I want it to cure exactly in that shape. So I just want to give it a little bend to make sure it's going to be in the right spot. And I'm going to fill this with some UV resin. Here we go. All right, that should be a good amount. Now I don't want to flood this with, or I don't want to overfill this with resin. I want it to still have some room for me to build up layers. So I'm just going to smooth this out and make sure that every edge of this wire gets at least a little bit of resin, so that I'm going to let it kind of settle itself, and then that will help level off how much resin is in this bezel. So I'm just going to make sure we kind of spread it around to fill up all of these bubbles. Here we go. And this is one of the holographic silicone pads that I've been using lately. I bought them a long time ago and lost them, and then I found them when I was cleaning up my studio. They're really cool. I like them because they're small and easy to work with, and you don't have to worry about managing a huge piece of silicone, but it gives you a good working surface, and it also adds a little bit of dazzle to your piece because it's going to pick up that hollow effect. Okay, so I'm going to give this just a second to kind of level out. And I'm also, let's see, I was going to burn off the bubbles, but there aren't really that many. And also, I don't mind bubbles. So I'm going to just leave that exactly as it is. Now, as long as everything looks completely filled in, it looks like everything's kind of leveled at this point. And I just broke the seal on the bottom, so it is going to leak out a little bit. But that's okay, I'll fix that later. So I'm going to take my lamp, turn it on for 2 minutes, and then I'm going to cure the top of it, and then I'll cure the underside of it after that's done. So I'm going to do 1 minute on top and then 1 minute on the bottom. I love how big the surface is of this light. This was my old light, or I still use it, but not as often. But like, it's a lot smaller. The actual working surface area is smaller. But most lights that are commercially available right now are pretty good. So really you just have to find one that, you know, suits your own personal style. Okay, I'm going to take that off. That should be good to go. Just got a couple of seconds left on the light. Okay, and then I'm going to slowly break the seal. And we got that cool little iridescent shimmer going on. So I find that really cool, but I'm going to move on to the next step really quickly. So next step, I'm going to give this a background color, and let's see, I think I'm going to do, colors I have here. I think I want like a reddish color. I've got rose hip, poppy red, that's going to be too dark. Maybe some fuchsia or magenta. I think I'll do magenta. Okay, so I want like a pinky, purpley, orangey kind of background. I'm going to start with this, and I'm just going to drop that all around and give it time to bloom. And then while that's blooming out a little bit, I'm going to drop in a little bit of alcohol just to keep the color moving. So it'll spread further. Now the trick here will be to let this dry off, or let the alcohol evaporate. I'm just going to try to break up some of this darker color along the edge. And let's see, most of this won't be visible, but I'm just trying to give us a little outline to work with later. Let me actually go like this to smooth it. To make this go a little quicker, I am going to fire it off. So what I'm going to do there is set my silicone piece on here. While this is still wet, I actually want to add a little bit of this Folk Art Treasure Gold. This is just acrylic paint, but it looks really, really pretty. So I'm going to put a couple of drops in there. I was using this paintbrush earlier. So going like this, and let's see how this turns out. And again, this isn't really, you know, how that orange is gonna look. This is more so just giving some background texture and things like that. So, okay, I'm gonna lay this somewhere so that it doesn't get everywhere. And if you notice, you can kind of see it like the shimmer is sort of bleeding out. I love how that looks. Yeah, it looks really cool. Okay. Now I need to burn this off, so I'm going to use my lighter. So I'm going to make sure that everything is away. I'm going to take my lighter. And I'm just going to very slowly let the flame burn off the alcohol. Okay, I'm just using this wet wipe to kind of wipe away some of that excess moisture and leave behind a little bit of texture. Again, you're not going to see most of this. And we do still have our hollow on the back. Wipe some of this away. There we go. Okay, so now we can start giving it some detail and start adding dimension and our embellishments. I'm going to put down a very thin layer here. Just enough to kind of seal in this color. I really like this color. It's very pretty. And I kind of love like the, you know, what the orange or the gold looks like on top of it. It turned into this gorgeous like fiery amber orange color. So I'll definitely be playing with that color combination more in the future. Okay. Again, just letting it kind of seep into all the different corners, and I may just put in 1 or 2 more drops here and there just to get it to balance out nicely. There you go. And just for funsies, just because I can, I'm going to add a little bit more of this because it's so pretty. So, like that. And I'm going to start here in the middle. If you do end up getting this, keep in mind that it is, it's acrylic paint, so it isn't going to be as fluid. It's very thick, so if you want it to run more, you'd want to mix it with something, maybe like a little bit of alcohol, because that's not going to flow as nicely as an alcohol ink. But I think it does a pretty cool job of creating some really stunning effects. So, okay, I have this. Now again, most of this you're not going to see, so even though it looks really pretty, this isn't what it's going to look like once all is said and done. So I'm again trying to, so again my aim here is to try to make it look like a little bit like an AI item, like it was generated by AI. So a lot of times what makes something look like it's AI generated is, you know, the amount of colors and the colors, the textures, and, you know, like a holographic nature or iridescent nature of, you know, whatever the image is. So that's what I'm going for here. I have some little flakes. These are just Mylar flakes from, actually they're cellophane from a thing of gift wrap. If you've been around my channel long enough, you know this, you know, a bit of gift wrap has been around for a really long time now. So I'll just start placing this all around. And I think it's really a weird dichotomy between artistry today and the whole AI movement because, well, if you don't know already, AI generates images by taking on the characteristics and sometimes even the exact imagery of something that an actual artist somewhere, you know, spent a lot of time making. And I find that really sad because it's so easy to, you know, write a prompt and say, I want to create this and I want this to be, you know, I want it to look like that. And then, you know, borrow somebody else's work for yourself. I find it a little disingenuous. So this is my attempt to try to take it back from AI. It's starting to run out here. That might not lay flat. This is a great way to use up scraps too. Now, I actually have no idea how this is going to turn out. I haven't tried it before. Normally I'll do a design and then share it with you, but this time we're going just straight from the imagination. So we'll see how much of this actually shows up in the end result. I'm just kind of burying the cellophane in the resin. And I'm just filling it all in. So this is gonna almost have like a little bit of a mosaic effect. So there. There we go. Okay, layer one down. Putting all my excess little scraps back in my little scrap bag, and they will see another day. Okay, I need to cure this, so let me find my light again. Okay, I have this red, orange, yellow, green Chameleon mica powder by Baltic Day. I'm going to dust a little bit of this over the top. And to do that, I'm just going to use this old makeup brush. Okay. Let's take a look at that. I like that. It looks very fleshy, like it looks very pulpy, like an orange would be. I think I want to layer some more stuff on it though. Why not, right? This is just us playing. So I'm gonna also do this one. This is like kind of a blue-orange flash, so I think that might look pretty cool too. So I'll add some of that. And of course, the information about all of these products will be in the description. I always make sure I keep Amazon links for you, or if I have like an affiliate code with a company, I'll always share those in the discount section of my video description. Might as well help you save some money if I can. All right, I really like this. It's very, very sparkly. What I'm going to do now is try to make sure everything's sticking down, and then B, I'm going to flood this with another layer of resin to make sure that it's flat over the top. I really love how everything looks all together right now. It's so pretty. I hope that it's coming off as well on screen. I know this light is kind of harsh on it. There we go. Okay, so I'm just making sure I've got everything laying as flat as I possibly can. There might be a couple spots where things are still sticking up, and if so, then I'll do one more layer here in a little while. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and cure this off. And we'll give that 2 minutes. Okay, there are still a few spaces where it's a little higher than the rest, and the cellophane still kind of sticking out of the bezel, but I am going to be laying down some crystals on top, so I don't think that that will be too much of a concern here in just a moment. So I'm going to start on the crystals, and I mapped out a pattern earlier. Hopefully I'll be able to remember it, but we will be using these little nail rhinestones. And these all came out of a nail rhinestone kit that I bought on Amazon. Again, I'll have that down below. So to start, make sure nothing's sticking here. Turned out really nice. Okay, so to make sure that nothing is sticking, I'm going to, just make sure. That looks really pretty inside. Maybe, should this be the rind? And then this be the inside? Let's lay out our crystals and see. Maybe that could be what I ultimately end up doing. But I have a bunch of little crystals here, so I'm gonna start placing them. And I'm gonna start with this little area to kind of represent like the pith in the middle of your orange. And then I'm going to build, since I have this like cross shape here, that'll help me lay things out. So I'm gonna build up. All right, now we're cracking. This is so pretty. Am I just a magpie? Like, am I just a bird with something shiny? Pretty much. Okay. And don't let yourself get bogged down by trying to make it perfect. It's not going to ever be perfect. I made myself a little tool for using these rhinestones, and basically just twisted some wire, left two parts of it untwisted, and then wrapped some stuff around the middle here to keep it like tight. And then this makes a nice little grabbing tool. So like if I need to pick this up, stab it right down, and then it picks it up. And then I can lay it down, in the spot that I want to have that particular piece. So yeah, I genuinely don't remember what my pattern was before. But that's okay. We'll figure it out. Let's start with these elongated baguette style. We'll put one of those there. Actually, I think I had these out like this. And I want to make sure they stay inside of my frame. Like that. And then make sure that's right in the middle. We'll do these little baguettes. I feel like there's something missing here. Let's see. Let me try this. And that's the thing with these projects is like you can pre-plan all you want, but like when you're in the middle of it, these things are going to dictate how they want to work, what kind of pattern is going to emerge. And even with the best laid plans, like you may stumble upon something else, and that item is even, or like that particular thing you created is even better than what you had planned in the first place. I always find that once I get started, no matter what the idea is or how difficult it's going to be, once I've started, it's so much easier to keep going. So I like to, have a starting place, but also be flexible enough to let the ideas kind of speak for themselves. So I'm going to put this here. And then I think maybe like one of these little round ones. My little organized pile of crystals is a mess now. And I'm just going to scoot that into place. Like that. then I'll go ahead and place the rest of these around here. There we go. And there's no expiration date on creativity. So whether you're getting into this hobby, you know, really early on, and you're still in high school and you just want, you know, something to use to express yourself with, that's awesome. If you have, you know, been doing resin for a billion years, but you've only ever done like mold, using molds and things like that, I really want to challenge you to stretch your creativity and try some new things this year. So, okay, and then one more over here. I know it's been hard. It's been hard for me too, to, you know, feel inspired with the state of the world and the way things are right now. But what else is there except art? Art has always gotten humans through the worst of times. So that's why I like to lean in to things that make me happy, things that are colorful. You know, I never like to try to let myself dwell in the darkness, because the only thing there is my own thoughts, and I don't want to have to deal with those. So if you joined this thinking you were going to get a fun, helpful tutorial today, well, sorry about that. Okay. And here. And here. And then I need one of these little ones right there. So I am planning to launch a store very soon. I simply just have too many things that I've made and no more space to put them all. So I will be opening up a store here soon. If that's something that you guys want to come along on the journey with, I'd love to, you know, walk you through the steps that I'm going to take to do that. I plan to open my shop through Shopify. Honestly, I've done so much research on, you know, what's the best way to go. And Shopify is really just, it's not easy. I mean, it's not difficult to use, but it is kind of intimidating. So a lot of people, you know, will say it's, you know, I'm just going to use Etsy because everything's kind of done for you in this sense that, like, you know, you don't have to code a shop or build a website yourself. Instead, you just upload your items. But the thing that I don't like about Etsy is, let's say that, you know, you're out at a supermarket and someone sees some piece of jewelry that you made and they really love it and they want it, right? And instead of them having a brand or something to turn to for you to say, yeah, go to my website at radcity.com or at joanneshappybeads.com. Like, there's nowhere for them to turn. You just say, well, you know, you can go on Etsy and visit my shop. And then once they get there, they're seeing all of your competitors. And while that's, I believe in a rising tide lifts all ships, and that, you know, even if that person didn't buy something from you, someone else is going to buy something from you from somebody else's referral. So the thing that I like about Etsy is that you do kind of have that built-in customer base, but it's so easy to just get lost in the shuffle. So I want to have more control over how I advertise. And, you know, again, if I send somebody to my website, I don't want them to see 800 competitors selling the same stuff that I'm making, or, you know, anything along those lines. So yeah, I'm going to be putting my store together using Shopify. And if that's something you guys want to explore as well, I'll be happy to film, you know, what I do, how I set the store up, some tips and tricks and things like that, so that maybe you will want to explore your own as well. Pushing that right into the correct space. And I have one more baguette I need to put right here. And it definitely would have been easier to build from the center out. Why, I don't know why I decided to go that route, but leave it to me to make my brain, or to leave it to my brain to make things harder for me. Welcome to the ADHD club. Here we go. I really like how this is looking. Okay. All right. Make sure everything is where I want it to sit. Give this all a little bit more breathing room. There we go. Okay. And then once I pour resin on it, I'll probably need to adjust it anyway. So I'm just gonna go there. All right. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of resin in each crevice. Now, for right now, I want to avoid getting it on the crystals. I just want it to touch the sides of the crystals. So get my little silicone brush again, and I'm just gonna lightly push it into the different areas here. And then your crystals may shift. If that's the case, you can just push them right back where they're supposed to go. It's looking more like a pomegranate than anything. We'll see. I mean, maybe this time AI will actually win, and this whole this whole series will be for naught. Just gonna drop in a little tiny bit more. Again, I'm trying really hard to avoid actually getting any on the surface of the crystals, but I do need it to touch the edges of all the crystals so that they stay in place. Okay, and I'm going to just kind of wiggle a couple of these back where they go, just to give the idea of the sections a little bit better. Here we go. Ta-da! Okay, now I'm gonna cure this real fast. Maybe. Okay, perfection is an illusion. Perfection is an illusion. I just have to keep reminding myself of that. So I'm gonna cure this. Okay, this is super pretty so far, but it's not an orange. So now I gotta figure out how to turn it into an orange. I do have these little items here, these little rhinestones. So I think I might use some of these. Okay, so I think what I've decided to do is to create a rim along the outer edge of this using these little red rhinestones. So that's what I'm working on now. And then I don't know if I'm gonna fill the inside of it yet. I think I need to see what this rind looks like first before I do that. But once I do, I'll determine if I wanna go inward and start filling in more of this. I really like how it looks in there, but again, I want to kind of see things a little bit more toward a completion stage. So I'm gonna just finish that up really quickly and we'll get back. That's really, really pretty. Okay. All right, so what I've done is I've added a little bit of blooming gel into each of the little wedges and added a small amount of treasure gold, like honestly, just like the very tip of this, colored the entire thing. And basically what I was going for here was just like a little bit of gold dust kind of sprinkled in the middle to give it a bit of depth. And again, we're going for like otherworldly, so I thought this would be a nice little touch. Now, I really like how this is looking so far. I wouldn't necessarily say that it looks like an orange, but I like the essence of it. So I'm gonna give this a cure for a little bit, and then we'll come back and keep working. All right, there she is. I really love how she turned out. I think it's super pretty. I did end up adding a bit of chain around the outer edge just to give that a more finished look. And then I also added a MagSafe piece to the back so that I can actually clip this onto the back of my phone. This MagSafe magnet is actually pretty weak, so I'm probably going to purchase a new one and make that a little bit stronger. That was embarrassing. But overall, I really love how this turned out. Any way you look at it, it's going to have some cool, neat things that you can see, and I am super pleased with it. It doesn't look exactly like the image in the beginning that I showed you that was generated by AI, but I like mine better because it's real and I can hold it and I know for a fact that I made it. So I hope you had fun with this tutorial. If you liked this format, let me know in the comments. I really wanted to try something that didn't involve as much editing, but gave you a little bit more actual content, because then I can produce more videos for you and get these out faster. So let me know what you think. Please let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. Tell me if there are any AI images out there that you've seen that you'd like me to try as part of this series, and I'll definitely add them to the lineup. So I have some really cool stuff coming up. But thank you for joining me today, as always. Thank you for joining me today. I had so much fun. Go make something awesome this week, and as always, stay rad. If you enjoyed this video, go check out my resin tutorial playlist.